Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome to the Amaury Love Podcast, episode 17. The episode is titled "Looking Inward Feels Bottomless," because that's been the subject of my life for the past week. This shit's crazy. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I've been hella excited to hop on a pod. Like, there's so much dope shit that's happened this week, and now that it's cool, cause I feel like now Sundays is the day I look forward to talking about all the shit that I be wanting to talk about. So it's kind of, there's a piece of me that feels like this is a little selfish, because I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. Like I'm in this place of gratitude right now that is almost like, oh nah, it's crazy, right? And it feels like I'm in a, I don't want to say constant battle, because that's not the energy or the feeling that's exactly, but I'm like running into the resistance of the parts where I need to improve at as a man, and I'm recognizing it, and I was like, oh, okay, I see why, you know, I I need to tighten up. I need to tighten up as a man, as a human being, as a person, as all that, right? Um, so it's funny because something I feel like I've learned recently is like, you ever feel like you're looking for an answer? Like, I got kind of funny. I think I heard J. Cole say something this along the lines too, right? It's like if your thoughts is like heavy, I'm butchering it because it's not exactly what he said verbatim, but he said something along the lines of like when God can't reach you because you're clouded, right? Sometimes the God will use people to speak through you, like to you, right? And I feel like I've been experiencing that because the goal is to be as clear minded as possible. Um, but I find myself, I'm always constantly in thought and thinking, right? So this is why even with the pod, like, this is something I'm gonna continue to do. I'm not really like super pressed on like, all right, I gotta make the pod, let's chop this up and this. I kind of get something out of it just being a natural thing, and I kind of want people to naturally gravitate toward it. And I think it's better for me this way, taking the slow step, especially now being that, I'm trying to put myself in spaces so I can get right, if that makes sense, right? Like, I haven't really shared this, but I decided, well, the world, I've decided to go back to school, right? And I wish it was like some cool shit, like I'm going back to audio engineering and I'm doing this and that. Now I'm gonna do something in the medical field. I guess I'm going in radiology, right? Um, and for a lot of different reasons, right? But I think I've had a 9 to 5 since I was 16, give it back 15, right? I've always had, you know what I mean? And there's like small areas of my life where I wasn't working, right? So like I worked with Dixie for like 2 years, and some bullshit happened where I let someone use my sign in, and then they used my sign in, and then they fucked some shit up, and then I got whatever. There's like small little pause, and I ended up going to working at Lorca, and then I was at Lorca for like 5 years, right? First 2 years on the phone, then I was on then the supervisor in the production flow, and then I left there. I worked with my cousin for a little bit, and then after working with my cousin, I ended up working for my ex's parents, and that's when I was like a housekeeping supervisor, and working on different contracts and stuff like that, so on and so forth. And fast forward, I did security work. That was cool because I worked at AAA Arena, so it was like sitting in front of the barricades and shit. So it was fire. I seen a bunch of dope concerts and like artists that I like. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? I'll share something along those lines soon. And then I, now currently working at the post office, which I'm grateful because, especially being the state of the world, the economy, like even where I'm at, it's crazy heavy. So I'm feeling like a burden of like, damn, I feel like I'm overworking, and they're overworking me because they know I just came from Miami. I came from a different environment, and it's crazy. I'm dealing with a whole other thing here, right? Or starting to realize like, damn, like y'all putting this extra shit on me because y'all think I could just overwork, everyone. All right. So anyways, I think I deserve it to myself to create that freedom so I could do what I want to do. But I obviously realized that through these years, like I fucked up my 20s. That's pretty much what I was the point, right? Like my 20s, I bullshitted, right? Like meaning I bullshitted in my steps to become a man. I was so fixated with my dream that uh I didn't grow, right? I grew spiritually, I grew mentally, I grew as, whatever, different aspects, but growth in the sense of like, okay, this is where you at in life right now. What are you doing to put yourself in position to, to reach toward that better version of yourself that you want? That's not associated with, oh my God, I want to be one of the greatest rappers. I want to be remembered. I want to be someone's favorite rapper one day, or some type of shit like that, right? So, especially when I think about, all right, what's 10 years ago? I was 26. What was I doing at 26 years old? I just started working in the airbase. I'm making great money that I didn't, that I wasn't making at the specific time. I just finished like a mixtape or something like that, right? But now that I got the mixtape out, all right, now I'm getting money right now. Oh man, I got a girlfriend. Now I'm living, but I'm not focused. I'm so caught up with different things that are not necessarily that important that I'm not thinking about, okay, bro, like you want to keep working every day so you could pay bills, or what are you gonna do to set yourself up so that, all right, cool, shit, if I could work 3 days a week and have 4 days off and get paid more than what I'm getting fucking sitting here 60-hour weeks and having to squeeze in all the extra shit that you want to do, not let alone actually having a regular life, like, oh bro, like doing shit that you want to do that got nothing to do with nothing. So I'm gonna make this let me stop doing this shit. I've decided to make this transition, and a piece of me is like, so you gonna pause doing with everything that you're doing? And to a certain extent, yes and no. I just feel like if I'm gonna make music, I just want to be inspired and then make it, versus feeling like, I gotta do this and this time, I gotta schedule this and this and the third, because I'm not even, and let's be honest, I don't even think I'm ready. Meaning that, like, what does a performance, like a real performance, look like for me, right? What does my stage presence look like? This is crazy, which I'm gonna transition a little bit, because I was just seeing this weekend, been a whole weekend. Oh my God, it's fucking crazy. Like I was watching clips from the fucking the first day, which was the Reasonable Doubt show, and then the Blueprint, which I believe was yesterday. Oh man, bruh, that shit was so fucking gas. I am happy though, because I did get to see, because with the Reasonable Doubt, I didn't get to see no video because I'm not on social media. I literally jumped on social media to do one thing, and I fucking deleted the app. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna deactivate this shit again. But I there's something that I feel like just not hopping on social media. I don't want to jump on it, and I just because I know myself, I'm like, I realize I overthink everything, right? So when I go on social media, it's like information overload. It's a bunch of stuff that I don't want to see, things going on, all this type of stuff, and it's just like, this is too much, bro. Like I don't even give a fuck about it. Like, it's not even that serious to me. But my YouTube is like curious. YouTube is like TV for me, like cable TV. That's how the the universe, YouTube fit, like how a YouTube fits in my universe, right? The shit I want to watch, my favorite shows, all that type of stuff. That's what YouTube for. And then unless it's like some fire podcast or a book or something like that, I'll go out my way. But anyways, yeah. So I was watching Rob Martin, one of Rob Martin's videos, and he was talking about going to the Reasonable Doubt, kind of like the first show. And I was like, damn, that sounded so hard. He talking about buying the merch and all that shit too, and just like the energy, and just like I can't, bro, because like. It's funny, right? There's artists that I got to appreciate that I didn't get to really appreciate. Well, not that I didn't get really to appreciate, right? But by the time I tap in, they've already done a bunch of amazing shit, and I'm catching it in this time, right? So, for instance, like, this is what I wanted to share, and I guess this is a great transition point. And I want to talk about this shit before my homies come in and all this type of stuff, because I want to get this shit off. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm trying to be more organized. I actually got a list today of stuff I want to talk about. So I remember listening to Reasonable Doubt for the first time, and it was a conscious decision, right? Because at this time, I believe I'm 20. Well, for context, up to this point, I've heard songs for Reasonable Doubt like in pieces. Like, of course, like The Evils is one of the greatest songs ever. You know what I'm saying? And Can I Live and Can Out the Hustle and fucking 22 twos. I heard these songs in pieces, but I think at this point I didn't hear it from front to back. Right. So when I was doing my deep dive and like studying, because at this time when I made the decision, I'm gonna take this shit serious, I went right into study mode. Like, bro, I can't just be out here just thinking I know it, but at the same time, leaning into the stuff that I already like, right? So like, I started with my deep dive with Wayne, and then I was like, oh shit, hold on, I'm recognizing that Wayne is a really big Jay-Z fan. And then I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I see why. And then you just go through like the lineage tree, I guess, of who inspired who, and so, or at least from my perspective, I can't even say that these are, it's not from their mouths. I'm just saying from me being an observer and tapping in. This is what I can bear witness to. So, anyways, right. So I remember when I was like, all right, cool, I'm finna tap in everything Jay-Z ever tapped into, and this probably like 2011, 2012. I know this is, it gotta be pre-Magna Carta, because this was interesting, right? I'll tell my story I'm about to say right now. It's real interesting to me. Whenever Magna Carta came, I'm fucking up the timelines, but I know I had the book decoded first, right? And then around the same time Magna Carta came out, or whatever, or maybe the decoded had already been out, but this is when I tapped in for the first time. And I remember around the same time, that's when decoded Magna Carta had dropped. And it's funny to me, because I remember, bro, and listen, I'm not even deep in the political stuff and how things are built, whatever, right? But I've always had an iPhone. The only time I ever got a Samsung was for fucking Magna Carta. So I remember getting this shit early, and I still bought the physical, the CD. This is why I wanted to say it, because I had just, at this point in my life, I had just finished reading Decoded, right? So when you got the OG Magna Carta, like, physical copy, and I hope I'm not butchering this memory, but the booklet inside, when you open it, it had the lyrics, but it was like covered. And I remember at first, I'm like, why are the lyrics covered? I didn't realize you could scratch them hoes off. And bro, I'm working at the call center at the time, right? So what am I doing, bro? I'm taking calls, and the book is open right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally just, all right, in between calls, I'm reading the chapter. Okay, get a call, boom, hello, yeah, you trying to say, all right, man, let me get the sale real quick, boom, all right, back to the book. So after, you know what I'm saying, that the Magna Carta, like, the booklet felt like a continue piece to decode it, because I got to like read the lyrics, and I don't think it had the breakdowns or whatever, but I still got to like read the lyrics, and me even like scratching the shit off to look at it was fire to me. So anyways, all right, that's neither here nor there. All right, so look, going back, so when I decided to make I started doing my Jay-Z deep dive. I don't even know why my thought process was like this, right? But I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna listen to Reasonable Doubt, and then I'm gonna listen to Kingdom Come. I guess my logic was like, I want to listen to the first thing that Jay-Z released, right, from front to back, and I want to hear the first thing that he dropped when he came back into the game, right? And again, for context, it's not like I didn't hear these songs or albums, but more so of like, I'm listening, and I'm gonna sit here from front to back and treat it like it's a movie, or whatever the case may be, to like really absorb the experience. And I remember, I can't even recall the specific memory. I think I did something with my parents, whatever. I just remember having my headphones in, and I had it like on a fucking, because I didn't have an MP3 player at the time. But everybody had one, but I had a fucking a little CD player with that shit down, like burnt and whatever on it or whatever. Sorry, I did burn it, but I ended up buying it later or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just to be, I want to get trouble. But yeah, bro, that shit changed my life. It changed the way I looked at even like how an album is structured, and just like, you know what I mean? Like, Reasonable Doubt is such, it like, listening to it now is still like, it still holds up to this day. That's even my argument with Magna Carta too. I think not Magna Carta too, but Magna Carta, I feel like it aged way better than what it did when it first dropped. Because even that, like, when I think of a song like what's Heaven, he's like, that song Heaven is crazy. Arm, leg, arm, head, this is God body, knowledge, wisdom, freedom, wisdom, trust, just, he says like the 10 jewels or whatever. Food, clothes, shelter, helping, find peace, happiness for the gangs, ain't no love in the streets. Conspiracy theory, screaming Illuminati. They can't believe so much skills in the human body. He's 6'2", how the fuck he fit in a new Bugatti? Ah, fuck it, you got me. Question religion, question it all, question existence until the questions are solved. Meanwhile, it's heretic. I'll be up in Marrakesh, Morocco, smoking hashish with my fellowship. Y'all be doing the devil shit. I'm in the Diablo fellowship. Man, it's so fucking. I love that song. Have you ever been to heaven? I don't even know what I'm talking about Magna Carta, but maybe it's my bias to it. But cause I know someone. I don't know who was watching. I might be forgetting, but they was trying to say like it didn't hold up. I'm like, if you think about it, this shit actually has a lot of slaps. I don't know what. I like more songs on Magna Carta than I don't. And people are like, oh yeah, Picasso. Picasso's fire. Picasso, baby. Oh, what a feel. All right, let me stop. Anyways, bro, so I watched so all right, hold on. I said the little story, heard music without woo woo. I was watching Rob Martin's video, he was describing it, and I couldn't imagine just hearing those songs out loud, right? And then like how Hov brought out Nas and fucking like, oh man, and I think the first night he brought out Jazzo, if I'm not mistaken. I will be butchering things that happen and special things because I wasn't there. I only got to see clips, and I woke up like 10 minutes ago. Oh, I'm capping. I've been on live for 60 minutes. Before I hopped on the live, I just woke up and like, oh shit, I overslept. I was watching the goddamn thing with Vic Mensa. And I fucking dozed off. But that sounded like such a dope experience. And then he like did the little freestyle. He did the freestyle, and then I felt that's so dope. Jay-Z, okay, he go dress whatever, and then he does it in such a cool, unbothered way. Because he talked about the Target, he made so much sense. He's like, yeah, y'all talking about the Target thing, but y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all use YouTube, Google this, that, third, like, bruh. It reminds me of too. You know what it reminds me of as well? I forgot. I think it's the B-Sides concert, and it's dope because like Jay-Z had all black on, but and like he had a Michael Jordan jersey under his black T-shirt, and then he did the freestyle. Now he's like, wait, is that the same one? I don't know. I might be mixing two times together. But every time he does like a legendary performance, you get a freestyle. Like it's almost like you get your ass current events or like you know what. Not only was I just want to hit, but just it's crazy. Like it's 2026. You've been doing this for 30 years. So that's an amazing feat. So I mean, Hov is always getting his flowers. There's never been a time that I've like looked in like the universe of hip hop and not seen Hov get his flowers. But it's amazing for him to continue to get his flowers and you know what I'm saying, and be a leader and an example to you know not only where it could go, but like but do it in a you know in a hip hop way. Now, how people feel about business and whatever and personal stuff and all this type of stuff, I can't call it. I don't even like having my opinion on stuff like that, to be honest, because I feel like everybody got, you know, people do that, and we only see what we see from the outside in. And yeah, I know I understand that these people are celebrities. Once you decide to become a celebrity, or once you decide to become famous, you're giving people the privilege, pretty much, to have a window and access to your life, or to access to their opinions or whatever. I know I'm butchered the sentence, but y'all get what the fuck I'm saying, right? But you know, that's, you know, what we see from the outside in, I'm sure is you know, it's always deeper than that, right? So people just be so judgmental, and y'all don't care about the music. I don't want to hear about like what personal stuff got going on. Like, well, you heard track 4, man. Which, speaking of that, all right, cool. We going to this good. That's transition. Wait, did I miss everything I wanted to with the J thing? Or I did see. Oh, I seen someone. All right, I really do hope that this happens, because I'm like, damn, this is so legendary. I wish I could bear witness to it, right? But my way of bearing witness to it is a bunch of people either talking about it, recording their own video, and then posting it on YouTube and stuff like that. Like I actually got to see the Blueprint concert, because someone recorded it from like an ill angle, so I get to see everything. He brought fucking Eminem. Like, he brought Eminem. The fucking dude Renegade. That was crazy, bro. And oh, it was ill. It was so ill. And then to see like I think that's such a ill, you know, I'm getting the same who I'm kind of getting the same vibration and frequency from. It's like Tip right now. It's ill to see our goats as adults, right? Like Jay was on stage, right? Probably one of the biggest concerts, or if not the biggest hip hop concert of like the year, right? With his wife and his child. You know what I'm saying? His daughter was playing the piano on stage, dope, and then transit. Like, can you imagine? I don't, cause I think I'm probably sharing the same idea that because I heard Rob Robert say this. Like, imagine being on stage with your child and making a moment like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy as fuck. So that I like that was all that was dope. I don't know if I'm mixing up the nights. I think that was the Blueprint night. But I got to watch it this morning on fucking YouTube from like a weird angle. But I'm like, oh, this is so dope, so fucking dope, bruh. He had the like the rollie and the vest on too, like oh man, that was so fucking fire, bruh. I'm grateful that Hov is out here just being goated. That's fucking that's dope. And you know it's funny. All right, cool. So we can transition now. So one thing that something that dropped recently, bro, that I was excited about, is J. Cole dropped the Fall Off. It dropped. Is it coming out? I don't know. I ordered it. I don't even got the money for it. But I'm like, I gotta get this a book. What essentially? So J. Cole got the Fall Off magazine, and when I seen the when I seen it, I was like, oh, that's fire, because like I think it's interesting where, and who am I to share my opinion what the fuck going on, but this is just my perspective as the observer and someone that loves this shit, right? It's interesting to see like the different ways like media has changed and how how we digest things, right? Because I noticed even too, like there's certain albums I didn't get to like finish till a little late. Like I just finished T.I.'s album. Oh my god. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm so it's so dope. I'll get to that and share my thoughts on that in a little bit. So for Cole to drop a magazine, and then like I didn't really know too much of like what was going on, but then I seen they dropped a video on YouTube where they was explaining like the writers they chose and certain articles, and then one of the, and forgive me, I know I'm not remembering none of the names, because 9 times out of 10 when on YouTube I kind of listen more than I actually watch, if that makes sense, because I'm at work, bro. I'm at work 10-12 hours a day. You think I'm not gonna be trying to distract myself while I gotta deliver 1,000 packages? So not even distract myself, but tap into what I love, so I know, okay, I'm working, you know what I'm saying, and listen, whatever. So the girl was explaining just like like her writing and damn, whoa, there's something I wanted to point out, and it slipped my brain, but I just thought it was dope that they got journalists that love this shit, and I guess they interviewed certain artists or whatever the case may be. I'm not 100% sure, because I know one of the writers said they talked about, I guess they talked to Benny Siegel or something. They was talking about like AI, and because like Benny Siegel was able to use AI to have him sound like how he used to sound, right? Because of circumstances and all that, he's not able to physically replicate how he used to sound before. But what a dope way to be able to use AI and I want to say moral way, but it's like, what does that really mean? But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you're not using it and I'm like, oh, please write all of my lyrics. Oh, make a beat just like this, and then you just using it like, no, you're using it for something very specific, nuanced, to help you perform and create your art the way that you create your art. So I'm hearing all this stuff, and then oh yeah, there we go. One of the ladies that was talking about it, she was describing how the magazine felt like a book, and that's what sold it to me. I said, oh yeah, I need this, and that's fucking fire. And then coincidentally, I completely forgot, because I remember Cole mentioned this in one of the interviews that he did previously, but like his first performance of the Fall Off tour and the Jay-Z thing was kind of at the same time. And I remember when I seen the post, because bro, like again, things are in my algorithm, so shit be late. So when I followed the fucking YouTube, and I'm like, oh, the tour, I'm like, damn, I'm like, I'm late as fuck. I didn't even know this shit took place. I think this already happened or whatever. And I'm looking like, oh no, this should happen the same day as the Jay concert. Oh, it just started too. So that was kind of interesting timing or whatever the case may be. But I was like, oh yeah. But I had to point out the magazine, because I wonder if that would be, because even when I looked at the price, I'm like, it's a little pricey, right? Especially for me right now, because I am, back against the wall right now, because I'm no more cash advances, so I'm trying to just be, you know what I mean? But when it comes like, there's artists and people that are that people really genuinely love. And I kind of feel like the internet, you it becomes blurry, right? That's another reason why I'm not trying to, even though I know it's more, I know it's smart. I know it's smart to clip. I know it's smart to, talk about certain things because it's gonna get attention. I know, people could use certain title, like, but the reason I don't want to do that, I'm trying to avoid bots in my fucking space because I want to know that I actually have real people that are tapped in. I'd rather have 5 people tapped in or 10 people tapped in than 100 bots, right? Because then, like, imagine I read something, I don't know who's pointed it out or I whatever, but 50 to like 70% of interaction in the comments or like social media, it's bots. So you have bots, like, the moment someone drops a post, you got someone paying someone to have 40,000 bots start spamming shit. Drake. I'm not saying Drake. I'm just using an example, right? I don't know. Hey, if he's doing it, then the subject to you too. But if you're not, then this doesn't apply to you. But I'm just saying, like, you got people. So now, regular people see this and they think the bots are regular. You got people arguing with robots, and then the robot, however these AIs are, because now at this point the AI is so sophisticated that it'll continue to have a conversation with you, and the whole time you think you're talking to a person. This is a goddamn AI, right? So I'm trying to avoid that in my because I want to have a gauge on who actually fucks with me, right? And if I feel like if I take the slow step, if I take my pace with it, then I could slowly not only engage with my audience, but then like build it naturally, and it'll be more intimate and social, right? I think it's cool that, like, even like when I like, there was a clip I seen from the Fall Off concert or whatever. This man Cole performing a version in the crowd, right? I'm like, that's fire, right? And like, and not, I don't want to say not everyone can do that, because obviously there's people that could do the exact same thing. Like, I feel like obviously Kendrick could do that. Or fucking there's like certain specific artists that people praise and love so much that they could walk some of those people and everyone, but it's a level of respect versus like gaining that attention from like other shit. That's why I've always been mindful of, like, all right, cool, I like, as a rapper, as an artist, from the jump I was being mindful of what I'm actually talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because like I know I don't want to portray something and then bring some type of energy and then now I'm, you know what I mean, because that's not even me. And like, I don't, homies wouldn't respect that. Like, people that I know would be like, why are you doing that type shit? And I don't it's funny, I just realized something last night. I shared it. I share this now, and we transition into, actually this would be a perfect segue, right? I realized that, cause I again, soul searching, right? I come to the realization that I seek approval from the ones that I love and the ones that I fuck with. Meaning, right? And this is a subconscious thing. I don't be conscious about, oh my god, I gotta do this because I want people, my family to love me. I want the people that I admire to love. No, it's not a conscious thought, but it's like it really in my subconscious, and it's coming from the 26-year-old that wants to be heard, right? Or like wants to be seen, feeling like, damn, no one, like, bro, I'm just, hey. I feel like, you ever seen that fucking, or I remember Jamie Foxx was telling his story or whatever, like, right before he got on, what was it? Right before he got on, was it In Living Color? He used to be chilling by the Hollywood thing, right? And he'll see like people walking in, or like, I don't know if it was the studio. He was in front of something, and he would be like, hey. And you know what I'm saying? Like, going for it. Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna just show up and just see what the fuck happens, right? But yeah, like, so the 26-year-old for the longest it felt like, damn, I really, like, I just want to be heard. I want what I want to matter, and I've lived in that up until this point, right? Like, even though, again, like, I think I mentioned this earlier, like, again, there's different aspects that I've grown, learned discipline, this and the third, right? But that, I stayed there, and I stayed at that age mentally, right? Because I wanted it so bad. I'm like, all right, I gotta be hungry, and then like, but I'm like, where does that come from? And I was like, damn, I really seek, like, because I want to make my family proud. Because I've heard, remember, I'm even like growing up, I had like uncles and shit, like, oh, you ain't, I don't want to say I was going to go be shit, but be like being hella judgmental of like how I'm living and, you know what I'm saying, who I'm hanging and what I'm doing and stuff like that. Not really having a full grasp of like, hey, this is my reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all, you know. So anyways, right? So the people that I love close to my vicinity, I want to make them proud and be somebody that they could be proud. Like, yeah, that's my dog Jose. You know what I'm saying? Or that's my dog Amaury. Whatever y'all, you know what I mean? Depending on how close we are, depending on what you call me. Or whatever, how you was introducing me. Oh man, that's a story I want to tell too. I'm gonna tell this like later at the end, right? But it's a dope, like, I feel like throughout my life, again, when you're going after anything, I feel like God is gonna put opportunities and things, and things will just line up. And there was a like so dope, one of my dope like moments of like, oh, this is happening now. Oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe I got to experience this in real life. Like, so I'll share that later. But anyway, so one thing that I thought was fire that I bear witness to, I think it dropped yesterday, right? I seen that Charlamagne the God and Act had dialogue, because I guess I'm not gonna go into whatever the nuances of what they got going on or what's going on or who's suing who and this that shit got nothing to do with me. I'm not I'm aware, but I'm not super invested in all the aspects. I'm not even, because what I follow, I'm not even really tapped in. You know what I'm saying? If they not, you know, my YouTubers not talking about it, I'm not really in the know. But it was dope because I didn't know that. I'm like, all right, there's like you know, I know they fuck with each other, but there's also some type of back and forth, and I thought it was ill for them to sit in the same space and exchange dialogue from a place of like, hey, nah, you fucked up because I told you this and you was supposed to do, and I told you this in confidence, and then, you know, like, that's important, right? Because most problems, most friction comes from miscommunication, right? Think about when, you know, like as a man, if I'm with my lady and we or the times I've been in a relationship and there's some type of we headbutting or whatever, like we not in the same page, it's all based on miscommunication, right? And sometimes some people are not in the space where they're ready to receive, right? Because I could because watching the dialogue and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I could I'm trying to think, because I feel like I felt like I felt like Act, and I felt like Charlamagne, and I don't mean this with anything they're talking about. I just mean this from the sense of how the dialogue went, right? Because there were times in the dialogue where like Charlamagne's like, all right, let me do you know, let me read this or whatever, right? And Act was ready to just talk, like, wait, hold on, no, but before you say this, let me do this or whatever, right? I was like, oh, that's a Taurus in this motherfucker, because he trying to, whatever he's about to say, he trying to justify it already before he even says whatever he's gonna say. And I remember when I used to be like that as well, where like I was so excited or ready to just share what I had to say that I'm not listening to, and I'm not saying that he wasn't listening, but again, when you're in that space where you're ready to, you know, what's the saying? It's like you communicate, like are you communicating to be right, or are you communicating to understand, right? Or to entertain, or whatever the case may be with it. But I did think it was dope for them to like share the same space, and I think they even talked about like Joe Budden or whatever too, I guess, whatever the case may be. Not to whatever, again, it's not, I'm just being the observer and giving my observation. And at least for me, I think that was dope that there was, you know, even if they disagree, they still could like communicate and talk. And okay, this is why you feel this way. I might not agree, but I see why you feel this way. And I think that type of stuff is important, because I think communication in general is just important, right? And now with like, again, with like social media and all stuff, the way communication is just, think about it. One time I left a comment on someone shit I admired, and I forgot a word, and it made it look fucking crazy, right? And that's for my stupid ass having a typo, or, you know, Apple fucking auto correcting some shit like that, right? But that's, yeah, it's my fault, because for not, you know, being fucking mindful. But at the same time, even me commenting or being a fan, that's a level of communication, right? And it's interesting too, because I don't know if I talked about this last time with the whole, like, when Lupe was like communicating or whatever, but he had mentioned something along the lines of like, how fans could get fucking artists killed or some shit like that. And when he explained it, I'm like, huh, what is that? How? And then when he explained his reasoning or what he experienced, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And like, but it's true though, because like, you're gonna put things out into the world, and if people support you, they're gonna want to do justice by you, right? But some people could do like the most, right? And then so I'm cognitive of that now as well, of just like, yeah, I'm a fan, yeah, I want to support, yeah, I want to shed light. I also don't want to be the person, because again, this is my pod or whatever the case may be. I don't want to critique anything because I'm not a critic, and I don't want to give a super big analyzation of stuff, because I don't what's the word, like, I don't think I'm a journalist, or I don't have the skill set to, okay, well, you see this line and this line meant this. I can do that with like my stuff, but just like for other people, I think there's way better people and doper people that do that you should go toward, that could give you that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be funny, I'm gonna get my thoughts and maybe be a little spiritual or whatever, I don't know. But anyways, but going back to that conversation, I think it was dope that they sat and had a conversation. And like, because it's funny, it's like the polar opposite sides, because they're trying to make like a Rock Nation Drake thing or whatever. And I just think like, it makes me think of just like, I mean, I interview with like Pac and Snoop sitting down, they talk, and like, I think this is like an MTV Movie Awards, and he's like, man, y'all got to be more responsible with the media, trying to make this East Coast West Coast, that people would know if y'all didn't perpetuate this and this, that, and the third, so on and so forth, right? And he said something along the lines of like, man, we'll do better, be more role models. Y'all do better, be more responsible. And I think about that. Like, I think about like being more responsible. So like, I can't, and again, my way of being responsible to whatever I'm doing is like, I just got to be true to me, and I can't entertain stuff that I actually don't like. I don't want to talk about something that I'm genuinely not interested in. Right? If I like it and there's some type of love there, then I have a way to speak about it, because it has to come from a place of feeling. I'm not writing nothing like this. I'm looking at myself as I talk to y'all, just so I can concentrate. You know what I'm saying? And then this literally is my notes. I just got fucking wait, how do you got down? You can barely see the motherfucker. There's like a list of 10 things. So if I talk about it, I mean, yes, I'm a talker, but if I talk about it, it gotta come from like a real place, so I could genuinely have some type of dialogue. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes I be watching certain shows and shit like that, I'm like, damn, I would love to participate, but I don't like talking unless I really have something to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be the dumbest person in the room, right? Because that's the only way I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna learn. Like, no matter how, I could be smart in different aspects. Oh my God, I could tell you about the first issue of Spider-Man in 1963 that was written by Stan Lee. Oh, did you know that in the book 7 Days of Men, 7 Little White Lies, Brother Jabari Sase has a chapter about like there's things that I'm smart in, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know everything and that I'm right. You know, I actually want to learn. That's why I watch and absorb from the people that I fuck with, because this is another thing I want to point out before I even go into the next thing, right? As a 36-year-old man, I'm grateful that there are people that I have admired when I was younger that are still doing what they was doing back then, that I could still like look up to as an adult. Does that make sense? Because like, you can't have kids raising kids. You can't. Because that, like, if it's not no entertainment stuff, when it's just like real life, you ever just like if a woman has a child at like 16, 17 years old, and she's still a young woman, right? So now she's a child raising a child, right? So it's gonna be more of a everyone's circumstance is different. I'm not trying, but just from people that I know and think, and people that have experienced certain things or whatever, and had to deal with certain situations in life, that could be a challenging thing, especially like, I'm seeing this now. Like, I was talking to my ex, and she was talking about how her mom treats her daughter versus how she's being treated when she was a child. But that she was a child raising a child, and now she older, she gets it, and how she should have treated you, whatever case it be. You get to experience that through how she treats like her grandchild. You know what I mean? But again, right? So like, even with this internet shit and this like social media and whatever the case may be, right? There's a lot of people that were like young adults that I don't want to say they haven't grown up, but like the world is different. So the real life experience. All right, for instance, right? I'll tell y'all some funny shit. So one of my favorite movies of all time is Gridlock. I know y'all seen the movie Gridlock with Tupac and I forgot the other dude's name, but I remember even like Pac in interviews talking about how like, oh, this was like a challenge and acting to me is dope. Like they were like in a jazz band and fucking, which is weird because it's him, this girl, and then I guess they all in like some, I don't know what's fuck going on, but the girl, she gets overdose and she's like in the hospital and they're like, man, we got to clean ourselves up because they're just like taking drugs or whatever the case may be. But the whole movie is them trying to get into rehab. And it's showing you how life was like in that time frame. Cause think about the internet now. If you get a ticket right now, if you get a speeding ticket right now, you could just go on the city website, look up traffic ticket, whatever the case may be. You could pay it. You could literally spend 15 minutes on your phone, go through all the logins, and then pay it, right? But back then, before all this, you had to sit and wait in a long fucking line. And then sometimes you might go somewhere thinking that you're there. You waited there for like an hour. And then when you get to the fucking front desk, they're like, nah, you're actually at the wrong place. You actually have to go to the office in Doral. Now you're like, what the fuck? I've been here for an hour and I gotta go way over here. I might not even make it on time. Those experiences mold you. It teaches you patience. It teaches you like, even like, all right, cool. I just rushed into this. I didn't think it's through, because if I thought this fully all the way through, then I wouldn't have made the mistake to go here. Like you have to have real life experiences in order to grow and build you. And I think, social media just has us always connected to the internet. That's why I made a very conscious decision to get off social media, because I'll find myself just, again, mostly because I'm working. Like when I'm not working, I gotta get this done. I got this. I want to read this book. I want to play this game. I want to do this and the third. Like, but I work. Imagine, like I've had security jobs, bruh. And you know, whoever had a security job, you know that shit nothing, bruh. Like you probably sitting in front of a desk. Hey, if anyone comes right here and they don't got to pass, write this thing down. 9 times out of 10, you do nothing. You watching Hulu on your phone or Crunchyroll or fucking on Instagram or whatever your thing is. You got a security job. You got a lot of leisure time, unless you working at some fucking. And I mean like a regular security job. I don't mean like, oh, I'm armed. I'm back in the fucking truck with fucking 3,000 guns. That's what I'm talking about. I mean just like a regular bullshit ass. You know, hey, y'all don't smoke over here. Hey, look, I don't want to see you go over there. Right, I don't know nothing. I'm about to walk over there. Just, you know what I'm saying? They say I ain't know. That type of fucking job or whatever the case may be, bro. But yeah, anyways, bro, you gotta have these life experiences so you can and learn, so you can be able to share it. So I made a lot of mistakes. Again, like I said this before, like my 20s, I bullshitted it for real, right? When it came to just, you know, laying a foundation, being a man, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Even being, I heard Ray Daniel say this and it resonated with me, being impressionable, right? Like, oh, that's, you know, like when I think something's dope, it's cool as fuck, you can't tell me nothing about it. I'm just like, you know, I'm still the you know, it's like the inner child's like, oh wow, that's fire. Like I remember I seen Anuel's car in real life. I didn't even know it was Anuel's car because we was in a fucking doing some stupid ass not stupid, I need to be mindful of my word choice. I had got an opportunity to be an extra on some like pod thing where they you know, they casted like the audience and shit like that or whatever. So I seen like some fucking Lamborghini or something, like the Lamborghini truck, and it was wrapped with like Dragon Ball. It had the Dragon Ball Super fucking. It had Goku Black from Dragon Ball Super like wrapped on the side. I'm like, what the? That's the who had? First of all, who got the money to buy this car and wrap Goku around this bitch? Oh, that's crazy. So impressionable, like things like that. So like, as again, like I was making bad decisions thinking I was doing the right thing, so whatever. So fast forward to up to now, right? It's dope that like the again, seeing people in the space that are adults that look like, oh, y'all kind of got y'all life together and y'all still like yourselves. You know what I mean? It's not like it was, you know how, again, I keep referencing Tupac, I don't know why, but you know how Pac was saying how like something like, you don't see no loudmouth 30-year-olds. He's like, when I think this is from To Pimp a Butterfly, if I'm not mistaken. He's like, you don't see no loudmouth 30-year-olds. He's like, society takes like the soul, the heart, soul of a man. This, that, and the third. This generation, or this, how the world is now, is a little different because now you have grown ass people with fucking everyone's doing either some type of content or creating something or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And I've done my best to filter out. Like I kind of don't want to see bullshit. I won't be I want to be informed and news and shit that's like important to like for learn from. But like I I don't care who damn who. I don't care about like even like some, certain things that I'm just not gonna talk about, or I'm not gonna like even watch. Like, why would I put that in my brain? If I stand on believing the things that I believe, and I believe that what I think and what I say affects my universe, then if I'm exposing things to myself, or I'm listening to stuff and I'm repeating stuff and I'm creating those affirmations, how am I not putting those things into my universe? You get what I'm saying? So, and I can't control it's just like, oh man, this is something else I want to talk about, and I'm so grateful. I guess I have to skip this. What's it called? But Tip had Yaki on his goddamn podcast, and oh man, that made me so happy, bruh. That made me so. I'm so like, I'm gonna say proud. That's crazy, but I look up the Tip so much because that's like, if you're like, oh, that's fire, bruh. That's so fire, cause it's T.I., bro. It's motherfucking T.I., and he's saying, y'all, and they're talking about health, right? And it's interesting too, because again, like, I always be wondering, like, what are people's like spiritual stories and stuff, like when they tap, because I be, I recognize my journey, and I want to know how it looks for other people. So even when Yaki was sharing his story about, like, first it was, he changed his health out of necessity. But then he started learning, and then he, like, learned from like Dr. Sabi and Lily Africa, but also like he learned from these people, but then like whatever the stuff he didn't agree with, he was able to learn and then create his own way, or like, his own understanding, and lay out his own understanding to be able to share or whatever. But it's so dope, because a lot of the information is true, and I think we don't. And I say we, I'm not saying you, anyone watching this specifically. I'm just saying, like, in general, right? Like, it's not the cool thing to be to educate yourself, right? It's not the cool thing to fucking learn about health and how this affects you and why you're eating this or this, that, and the third, and making sure you creating healthy habits and stuff like that. We're constantly pushed and fed like the bull. I mean, it's the most accessible thing too, right? I don't gotta drive too far, and I don't see a McDonald's or fucking Wendy's, or over here they got some shit called Taco Maker. I don't know why, but these Puerto Ricans love Taco Maker. But it doesn't take too long for me to get to one of these fast spots, right? And it's so accessible, right? Versus like being not just mindful, because I don't think you should just, I love ramen, bruh. I'm a Naruto fan. I feel like I am Naruto. I'm really Boruto, low key. But I feel like I'm Naruto, right? I love ramen. There's nothing that's gonna stop me from eating ramen. But I also know balance. All right, I need to make sure that I'm putting the right shit in my body for the majority part. So when I do want to entertain, I'm gonna eat some pizza today, or I'm gonna eat some bullshit, then I have the balance out to where, like, I can indulge in some of the stuff that I fuck with, but it won't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm, if I'm eating clean for 7 days straight and I eat a fucking hamburger, it's not like my whole face gonna break out and I'm gonna be, oh my god, all this type of stuff. But if I eat that hamburger every day, then shit, that's when I'm gonna get fat and all this type of stuff. And I've been going too hard in the gym to get fat now. Y'all probably don't see it or whatever, but this is the best shape I've ever been in my goddamn life. And I'm trying to stay consistent with it, because that's another healthy habit that's reinforcing the other healthy habits that I'm trying to, even slowly cutting off my vices. It's ain't longer. It's funny when you realize, when you're like trying to improve yourself, you realize it's all self battles and shit like that. Cause now you fighting your ego, you fighting your hunger, you fighting your fucking your habits, and then it's like, no, you got to do better. Then your body's like, nah, you condition us this way. The fuck? How you go smoke every day and today you gonna stop smoking? You got me fucked up. The body is reacting, and it's a mind thing. You gotta fight it, bruh. You gotta fight that shit. But when you overcome it, you feel good, because you feel like, but yeah, anyways, having Yaki having Yaki on there was so dope. And I think this is ill too, because like my aunt, she's a big fan of it. I remember she randomly called me, because my aunt's my godmother. She's like my mom's little sister. So she's not, how is Titi? I think she like in her late, she's like her early 50s or either late 40s. I don't know. Or she's in like her early 50s. I don't know. I might be butchering the fucking age or whatever. But she close, so she like in tune with all kind of like. I remember there was a point in time where me and her didn't speak for like years, right? So when we reconnected, which is coincidentally around the time where like I had came to Puerto Rico for the first time as an adult in 2025, and like I was like a whole thing. Like, what the fuck? I didn't know none of this shit was here. But yeah. So when we reconnected or whatever, we talking. I remember my mama said some. This how, hey man, I ain't gonna lie. Like religious people, they be funny because like they sometimes if they don't understand what you talk about, they word it in their way. So I had a preconceived thing, right? Because my mom had said something along the lines of like, yeah, you know, your aunt's on some religious stuff. I was like, word, okay, well, and I'm in my mind, I'm ready. All right, this is gonna be interesting dialogue because I love my auntie, but I'm gonna tell her exactly how I feel about whatever. This ain't the internet. It's my aunt. Like you know me. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is how I feel, and this is why. But so whatever. So when we started chopping it up, and the first thing that when I went to her house, the first thing I noticed, she had one of Dr. Lady Africa books like sitting down. As a matter of fact, I wonder if it's still. I'm gonna show y'all because I know my uncle got the same book. Give me a second. Boom. This is called African Holistic Health by Lilia O. Africa. Herbs, vitamins, minerals, aminos. Boo, boo. This is a fire book. Wait, can y'all see? I know the fucking glare. How the hell? All right, there we go. And this is the first thing I noticed when my bad. This is like dusty too. Like this is like my uncle book show. He probably gonna cuss me out. Why are you touching my books? My uncle was like Yoda, like low key. I mean, one time, I'll share this another time. But anyways, that's the first thing that I noticed. And I was like, "What you know about Dr. Lily Africa?" And then she's like, "What you know?" Like it's almost like a moment, like, "Oh, you on the same thing I'm on?" So she, Titi, I don't mean to put you on blast. No one knows who you are, so that's fine. So I'm but you know, so my auntie's a hoarder, right? And she has so anyways, you know how like when you have your living room and shit like that, like in a regular size house or whatever, like you have the living room and then there's like this thing that divides the living room from the it's like something divides the living room from the kitchen, but they got stools and you can like sit down and it's like a little desk thing or whatever, right? So that whole motherfucking thing is full of a bunch of herbs and all these products she done bought from Yaki. And she was that moment, because when I seen that, she went into the dialogue of Yaki, and I'm like, oh shit. So she's talking to me because I was familiar with bro, but I wasn't 100% like I wasn't tapped in, right? So she's explaining stuff to me like, oh no, this product does this and woo, and I'm sitting there like, oh, you're actually really tapped in, like you're into holistic health and this, that, and third. And I'm looking, and I'm seeing like we using the same soaps. Like my auntie had the Dr. Bronner soap and the toothpaste and shit like that. I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not fucking alone. Because when you start looking this shit up, or you start like deep diving, when a lot of people are not on the shit that you own, it make you feel crazy. Because you trying to explain shit to people like, hey, well, did you know that this is carcinogenic, and did you know that this, that? They don't want to hear that. Y'all look you dead in your eyes, biting they goddamn Big Mac. Like, you got me fucked. You think I'm letting go of this goddamn Big Mac? But so anyways, like I seen that whatever, and that's how I got traditionally put on, like actually put on to Yaki, of like, because she started playing videos and stuff in the living room, and go more into depth into what I knew, whatnot. But so the moment I seen that on YouTube, that's the first person I sent a video to, like, nah, TT, you gotta see this, yo, like Tip is sitting with Yaki. Oh man, that was dope. And I feel he shared a lot of great information. Like only thing, and this is just me being biased and really wishing that it's just me wishing that I got my way. I wish this book was on Audible. I wish I could listen to, because that's the way I consume my information the most. I'm sure there's ways that I could probably just, well, I don't even know if there's a digital version, but I'm definitely gonna buy this book at some point. But I'm like, man, as soon as I heard the thing, I went right into fucking Audible. Like, this is motherfucking him. Like, no, damn. But I saw that, man, that was fire. That was so fire. I love that the goats are being goated, bruh. I love that the goats are being goated, that they standing on stuff, that they doing, like, I guess the right thing. You know, people gonna have their thing, because even with like the whole target Jay-Z shit. Like, bro, come on now, bro. Like, y'all wildin'. Like, make it the same for everyone across the board. Don't be fucking isolating Jay because he's the 30th. Who got a 30th anniversary like that? Man, the hip. Oh my god, selling out the fucking. Oh man, bro. All right. Where do we go? Where you go? See, I got a list. I'm like, all right, be a little more organized with my shit. Okay, this was an interesting thought to me, right? I might have my homegirl hop on for this dialogue too, cause I ain't gonna lie, I hold, and I'm really sorry if y'all was waiting for me to see what I had about season 2 Power. I didn't get to watch it this week. I'm still on. I still on episode 1, and it's because I've been like, various things. But I trust next week I will have the full season 2 done, ready for like my whole analysis or whatever. Actually, this is mad funny, right? I don't know if I shared this already, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But one of the goddamn one of the things that got me excited to talk about Power on the pod. Back in the, I don't know how long ago this was, but when I was on IG, there was someone I was following that was watching Naruto for the first time. So every day or every other day, he has like a fucking reel, like a 3-minute reel where he's explaining what the fuck going on, and he just like, bruh, what the fuck? How did, first this person done died, and then he done came back to life, and then he killed that person, and then you find out he did it he was doing it through the fucking through the seasons, and I was like, it was dope to get like a recap from someone watching it for the first time, because it made me those are the same sensations that I felt watching it for the first time, right? I don't know if y'all experienced this, like when you ever get in a relationship and you want to watch something that you haven't you watched already, but your partner hasn't, so you want to watch it again with them, because one, you get to watch it again, but it's almost like experiencing it for the first time through their eyes. Right? That should be fire, bro. That should be motherfucking fire. So anyways, next week I'm gonna whatchamacallit, next week I'm gonna give my analysis on season 2 of Power, cause I got some, man, I can't wait. Cause I'm excited. But right, this has been like dialogue, and I'm probably hella late to the conversation, but I'd rather be late to the conversation with my thoughts. Right, all right, so everyone been talking about like Miami Spend That, and Young Miami Spend That. I'm born and raised in Miami-Dade County, right? I've lived in Kendall, I've lived in Richmond Heights, I've lived in Perrine, I've lived in Aranja, I've lived in Florida City, I've lived in Homestead. I'm from down south, right? And when the city girls were first popping out, they was everywhere. It was immediately embraced by the whole city, right? So these are my thoughts on Young Miami Spend That, right? Because people trying to say, oh, she's promoting boosting and having negative, and what's the name? Fuck, I hate when I don't have, because I don't want to write all this shit down, but who was just talking about, hold on, this lady was talking about the song. Oh, India Ivory, there we go. Right? Obviously, like, she's an R&B legend and all that, but and she has the right to share her truth and how she's and what she says, right? But I also think that's unfair to Young Miami, because not too long ago, what's that song? The is T to whatever touching, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna talk to my homegirl Jasmine about it, like when I bring her on, cause I remember we was having this type of dialogue, and they was like, oh, they trashing her, this, that, and the third, or whatever, because I don't be knowing what's going on Twitter, the socials like that, right? But like, and I remember she dropped a song right after that where it's like, I forgot the video. I think the video was like black and white, and like she was like her holding her baby, and she was like rapping, right? And I was like, oh, that's dope. Like she ain't letting none of that bullshit like bother her, or whatever. Anyways, I'm saying this to say that she, even the stuff with like, you know, Diddy and all this stuff, like she's a woman going through all this shit and then trying to figure out make it hit. She finally got and not saying finally, she obviously she is a legend, but I'm saying like now, like she got one, and the shit is, you know, people are saying like it's a song of the summer, this, that, and the third. Everybody, you know, it's all that. She got one instead of like embracing and being like, yo, man, like she got one, bro. Like she, you know, y'all, we was just trashing her about, oh, that song was trash and this, that, and the third, and now she got one, and now we talking about some, oh, it's bad, like the content and this, that, and the third. And I was watching Glasses podcast, right, and he was reading the lyrics. And when you read the lyrics, you be like, why? This is what I thought of. People are fixated on the words, right? It's just like if I was talking fast, fuck. You don't hear nothing I said but the word fuck. So you hear the word boosters. You hear spend that. You hear even like the part where she's like, tell me what you spend the block on your ops and all this type of stuff with it, right? Like if you break it in an artistic perspective, she's pretty much telling you, hey, this is the type of man I want, and this is where y'all at. I'm trying to figure out where these type of people at, where they get. But it's art, right? You watching Bad Boys, and you think Martin and Will Smith really police out here, having shootouts in his old crib? No, you know what I'm saying? It's art. You get what I mean? So I think it's fucked up that, like, you know, she should be, and I know and I'm not saying she's not getting her flowers. She is getting her flowers, and they are getting it. But like the social, again, like real life versus the internet. I mean, even like, you know, it's funny. I remember I was watching an interview with Meek, and this is, I guess, around like the him and Drake thing or whatever, right? But he was explaining like, bro, in real life, bro, like people love me, bro. I'm going to different places. I'm embraced. Like the social media will make it think otherwise, right? But like, bruh, this is all on the internet right now. If there's some big ass EKG bomb blow and all the internet goes, just everything disappears, right? We don't got no internet. All we can do is access the physical things that we have, right? A lot of this shit disappear. You know what I'm saying? And even though these ideas of like, because you know, a lot of times our ideas are not even our own. I think I heard Cole say this before. Like our ideas are not, we're watching stuff, and then being exposed and subconsciously being affected and so on and so forth, right? So then we end up, you know what I mean? That's why I'm even cognitive of what I'm absorbing, because like shit, if I know I'm trying to always educate myself, at least I know that I'm listening to people that I respect and admire, to, you know, respect and admire, or that I could learn from. I know the things that are being laid in my subconscious mind are reinforcing principles and morals that I already lean into. Know what I'm saying? Like all right, y'all know my dogma, for lack of a better word, is I'm into Kemetic spirituality, right? But in essence, when you go into like the principles, it's just, you know, how to maneuver in this universe that God created and do your best to be in balance. There's no such thing as perfect balance. Even on the scales, even if it's two things weighed together exactly, it's still gonna kind of teeter-tot, right? It's how to be balanced in the chaos, right? So I want to, or what the things that I absorb and the things that I expose to, I need that to reinforce those principles and ideas, right? Because I, you know, out of the homies, I'm the person that's like in this space, like, yo, bro, did you know this and this, that, and third? And like, you know what I'm saying? I do believe that if you know, think positive and speak positive and do positive things, you get positive results. I have to, you know what I'm saying? I'm that for my homies, right? And they kind of on the same page too, right? Little stuff, whatever might be different, but for the most part, they operate from that space. But at the same time, I got to continue to make sure that I reinforce, like even the stuff that's supposed to reinforces that, so I don't slip away, right? That's like, let's say I had a drinking problem. I don't have a drinking problem. I barely drink. I might have a beer here or there, but that's pretty much it. But let's say I had a drinking problem, right? If I keep listening to music that's reinforcing drinking, if I keep watching things that are showing people drinking, getting drunk, I'm gonna itch for it because I keep exposing myself to it, right? Even when I decided to quit smoking and shit like that, right? Which is something that happened not too long ago. I had to like throw the shit away. Like I didn't want to get to the point where I was like, all right, let me get rid of after I finish it, no, I had to take this shit. No, I don't care what I spent on it. I got to throw it away. Because now I'm telling myself, hey, this has no value. you just wasted whatever you wasted. Get rid of the shit and thug it out. If you want to do it, then you just gotta sit there and eat that feeling. And I know, there'll be the mornings I was like, fuck, bro, after my coffee, that shit be hitting. But nah. You want to be a better man. You want to be a better, you gotta take, and it's, you know what I'm saying? That shit hurt too. I mean, change hurt like a motherfucker. But anyways, let me see if I get Jazz on the phone to talk about, because I would like to hear like a girl from Miami's perspective on Young Miami. I don't know what she's gonna say. So for context, make sure, because let me do this a little, what's the shit called now? The goddamn, what's it called? Fuck. Goddamn, disclosure. Whatever the homies say, that's on them. Unless, if it gets to the point where it's disrespectful, I'll cut their ass off, and it's like, nah, bro, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I also understand this is my platform, but I cannot control what other people say. So don't hold me accountable for what other people say. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, all right, let's get to this. Let's see Jazz pick up. I should have been like, hit it like, hey, by the way, we'll be at this time.
Your call has been.
Well, that's kind of appropriate, right? Because I didn't get to watch goddamn Power, so she was, what's it called? We would have been able to have a conversation anyway. But I wanted to bring on for the conversation, because I remember us having that, and she was like, oh yeah, they're tearing her up on Twitter, whatever, for the T song, and then like I think whenever that song, that again, I'm forgetting this video name, but the black and white video that dropped, and she was rapping, I remember like the change of like, oh no, she's snapping, right? But it's interesting, bro. It's funny how people look at shit, or like, if you're gonna do that to one person, make it same across the board. Don't isolate Jay-Z and say, oh, Target, he touched it, and then all the other ghosts have it shit, and no one's saying nothing. Right? Or, you know what I mean? I'm sure Future got 1,800 songs about drugs and shit like that. For mine, he didn't even do drugs. I'm not saying nothing. I think Future just dropped the album. I haven't tapped in. But it got to be the same across the board, bro. And she deserves it. Like, I'm saying, like, shouldn't we, especially as men, shouldn't we want to protect our women? You know what I'm saying? Like, shouldn't we want to make sure that they not, I don't think it's cool to, unless someone's, again, I don't think no human is, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, anyone is subject, whatever, you decide to put yourself out there, it is subject to criticism, whatever the case may be. But I think we should be mindful of, like, especially, bro, times is hard too, bro. We have no idea what these people are going through in real life, right? And I'm not saying, I'm sure she's up and all this type of stuff, but we don't know what people are going through. Just it's not even a financial thing. Maybe, people got to deal with family and loved ones and things that they're trying to do and challenges that they have. You don't know what it take out of them for them to do what the fuck they be doing. So, you know what I'm saying? Young Miami, shout out to you, man. Go ahead, go kill him. Do another one. You know what I'm saying? Let them stop playing with you. Now, I will say, this was the funniest thing I've seen, but it was kind of distasteful, bruh. And I ain't gonna lie. And I didn't even know this existed, because again, I'm not on social media, right? But I was watching I was watching Glasses Pod, and I didn't know Trick Daddy had like said something to this like he was talking about Young Miami, like, oh, she doing, you know what I'm saying? He was saying great things, but then he's like, don't listen to that bitch. And I'm like, oh, hold up, Trick, like, bruh, that's kind of crazy. But it's funny too. I was having a convo with one of my dogs. I was having a conversation with my dogs not too long ago, and we was having like, Trick Daddy is kind of like what older people sound like. Like, again, I'm just from the perspective of down south, right? Everywhere between exit 14 and exit 1, I've really lived there. Everything else up is just like whatever. I know about it, but I never lived in Coconut Grove. I've never lived in like South Miami or whatever. Any further up you go, I'm familiar, but it's not like I lived. I only know down south. But the older people down south, right? Like, I'm 36, right? So let's say someone that's like 46. The way that they speak sounds like Trick Daddy, like they word choice, like the you know what I'm saying, like the lingo is Trick Daddy, right? But people are like my age group, a little, or probably a little younger, right? They sound like Kodak. I remember when Kodak, I don't know, it had to be like, he was still probably like 16 or 17, but I remember working at Alorica, and there was like, oh, Kodak back for the be at, not Showgirls, what the fuck? It's on US 1 off in Naranja, bro. I forgot the name. It's like, damn, bro, I've been there so many fucking times too. It's a strip club on US 1. It's not, it's in down south. It's not Tootsie's, it's goddamn, damn, it's not coming to my head right now, the fucking name. But I remember like he was gonna perform there. This is early on. I think like Project Baby was like the only tape that was out or whatever the case may be. But everyone at work made it a point to once they clock out that bitch, they going straight there, right? And talking about it with my dog, it just meant because you know like he sounds like people down south, right? Like again, like the lingo, or whatever you talking about. Even certain things when people was like what was it? Like saying the word basa or saying fucking motherfucker green fuck. Even that's still that's whatever. Anyways, point is like tone wise, all that stuff. So it's like yak sound like younger folk and Trick sound like older people. So like when Trick that was Snap, I'm like that's how they kind of talk. Like they talk this. I don't know if it's a South thing or whatever. It's just like I don't even know. I don't even think there was malice behind that, or maybe I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and again say what's right, wrong, left, right. Just again my observation. It was funny, but a piece of me was like, "You ain't gotta do that, Trick. That's crazy." But man, speaking of shit dropping, right? All right, so I think this is dope, right? Cause all right, so I obviously like I'm fresh off of listening to Tip's album, but someone's album that really surprised me, bruh, and I'm like so like, oh, that's so fucking hard, bruh, so fucking hard. Lil Reezy dropped his tape. I guess it dropped. Yes, or dropped. I don't know when it dropped, but it dropped like a couple of days ago, a day ago, whatever. Bruh, that shit is so motherfucking hard, and there's a piece of me that's like the older person in me is just like, bruh, that's so dope, bruh. Cause me personally, I feel like he doing it the right way, and I think I'm a little biased, cause like because he's from New Orleans, he kind of remind me. I don't say he remind me of Wayne, but like his voice is dope as fuck, and he knows how to rap. And not only he know how to rap, but he talk about something, and the shit that he talk about, it like I'm like, oh, you on some positive shit, but you snapping. You talking about you're not, cause like when people think of positive, you are like, you know how Will Smith didn't cuss in his raps or whatever the case may be, right? So you kind of think that, but it's like you could still pen off and sound hard as fuck, and kill your flows, and talk about shit, right? Like if I'm talking about being a man and providing for my family and taking care of my bitch and this, that, and third, like I might use the cussing to you know paint, you know, because again, like when if someone just yelled fuck, it don't matter where you are. If someone just he was walking, someone just yelled fuck, you gonna look, it's just gonna trigger you. So I think even there's some type of science of like gravitating the ear, but if there's you know sometimes the medicine might outweigh the candy, but the wrapper looks like a candy, and the moment you open that, this is medicine. So yeah, his album is fire, bruh. His album is fire from front to back, and I love that he got like, it sound like, I don't know, I've never lived in New Orleans. I don't know what it is to be a young man lived and raised in New Orleans, but his album sounded like that to me. Right, I think after like the first song, there's like it sounds like, I don't know if it's like a bus stop or something, like, because in the cover he has a bus, but you hear his environment, and it took me into his world, and then the music was like the soundtrack to the environment, and I was like, bro, this is crazy, because he was dropping singles off the album before it dropped, and it's like Melanate is fire as fuck, and then he dropped Why Do You Love Me. That was my shit too. But I'm like, but hearing it in the album cohesively, I was like, oh, bruh, yo, this is insane. I'm like, yo, he killed it. He did such a good job. Like, bruh, you know the I don't know how old he is, but I'm assuming he's in his early 20s, right? He's doing like what he did is exactly what I would have loved to have done at that age. Like be like, oh man, like bro, like he rapping on some positive shit. He talking about being, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, me and my wife, telling my story, rapping phenomenally, right? And then also making a cohesive body of work. Like I want to give bro his flowers, bro. Like I applaud that. That's so fucking dope. Like that did something to the younger rapper in me. Like, oh man, that's so fucking cool, bro. Like that's so fucking cool. That's so fucking cool. He got fucking dope ass tape, and I know he's on the double XL. It's crazy. I don't know who's on the double XL besides Lareezy and Miles Minute. And I think it's dope that Miles Minute is in the fucking the double XL freshman list because he's the first Christian rapper to hop on. And you know that's not necessarily my dogma, but not only can I respect it, but I think it's impressive because he's snapping. I think he's from the Bay, right? I know he's from the West Coast, but like. He's making bops and he's get his Christian shit off, but it don't even like you unless you really paying attention. Like or like, you know, if you know, then it's gonna gravitate and it's gonna give a lot of context to whatever he's rapping about, right? But it takes effort and skill to be able to do that and make it sound dope, and it doesn't sound like you preaching. He sound like he making slaps. So nah, outside of them two, I don't know what's going. I don't know the other double XL what's it called, and maybe it's my bias because I'm exposed to the stuff that I'm exposed to, so I only see what I see. But I did hear something along the lines of like, I guess some of the double XL artists, I don't know if they didn't want to rap or wasn't gonna rap or whatever the case may be, and it's like, again, maybe it's a generational thing. I'm 36, right? So like again, I remember being the double XL since I don't know how long double XL has been in existence, but it's as long as I can remember for the most part, right? And those ciphers and those ciphers were such a big thing. You know what I mean? It meant so much. Those ciphers meant so much. Those freestyles meant so much because it's like, again, this is the double. Think about it's like the NBA draft, right? And you have all the rookies heading to the first round picks of the rookies and stuff like that, right? These are the new faces that are going to enter the league and do their best to make a name for themselves. The first thing you want to show off is your skill set, right? And now I don't know if this is a deeper conversation because I don't know about, how like rock got different subgenre groups and shit like that, and like hip hop is kind of the same way. You have like, you have the rappers that are very technical, and I hate saying spiritual miracle because it sounds funny, like a spiritual miracle, but like for real, like people that know how to pen shit, that they're craftsmen in their words and focus on flows, bars, and delivery. And then there's another aspect of artists that like focus on songs and making slaps and making bangers and then there's artists that focus on the 15 minutes of TikTok. And whatever, all these different things across the board, right? But like in my head, when I think of the double XL or the artists that they pick, right, I would assume, again, I don't know how anything works on the back end. I am, again, the observer. This is just my thoughts on this, right? I would assume that you want to get the hardest rappers, not who, because again, what is buzz? I can't, at this point with social media, I cannot differentiate who has a real organic following or whose following is fucking like whose following is like whatever, right? Because how am I gonna, especially when someone starts getting millions and millions, like them out of 500 million followers, it might be 2 million that are real active people, and you have 400,998 bots. I don't know. I have no idea how that shit works, right? But if and again, maybe this is me being ignorant to how things are done on the back end, or what are they looking at? Only analytics? Are they looking at what people feel, or like what they I don't know where, I'm saying, like where that comes from. They damn sure did a good job with Miles Minute and Lareezy, but I don't know about everything else, and I don't know, and this is no disrespect or nothing to anyone else on the list. Congratulations to y'all wherever you guys are on there, it was on there for a reason, right? Like God didn't put you in that position for no reason, but at the same time, you made the decision to be a rapper and contribute to the floor, bruh. Come on, you gotta rap. You know what I mean? You gotta rap. Shit, I remember I had to do a cypher. My shit, I ain't gonna lie, I thought that my shit was trash, bro. like, I ain't gonna lie, in retro, I can't even watch it, bro. That shit so cringe, bro. That shit so motherfucking cringe. It's somewhere on YouTube. I won't say it. I'll say it. It was something called Miami Outcha. It's this girl named Tiff Boom. Shout out to her. That was my first time actually meeting like DJ EFN and like the Crazy Hood like team and stuff like that. Cause I don't know what, I just, you know, again, like back in like 2018, 2019, all of the opportunities were coming from like, you know, oh look, we're having this thing, you know, come submit through Instagram, this and the third. So like I was doing a lot of shit like that, and that was like the first time I did something that felt like professional, right? Cause like you sign up for the event. When we first got there, everyone did their freestyle, right? After everyone did their freestyle, we did like a photo shoot. So if you ever see a picture of me with a photo shoot where I have like an army fatigue jacket on, like the Tupac shirt and like the Death Row hat and whatever the case may be, that came from that moment. That was like my first photo shoot ever and shit like that. But anyways, I remember when everyone's doing like doing their verses for the cypher and stuff, and I remember I came on strong as fuck. But then it just was like, that shit went, you. It's like a stock. That shit shot up, and that bitch dropped right the fuck down. But still, I mean, I still tried and attempted, and you know what I mean, did my best. Now my best, or what? Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's interesting. I think, you know what I mean, like, I wonder why people fall in love with hip hop. And why people want to make music, like, because I at least for me, in my perspective, and again, I'm born in 1990. Think about what I'm at 1990, May 17th of 1990 is my birthday. I don't know if it's a bad thing to release my birthday, but fuck it, that's exactly the date that I'm born, right? So from my eyes and from my perspective, what I bear witness to, right, I remember it was important to me to have bars and to have a flow. It was important, right? Because if I'm listening to Lil Wayne, or if I'm listening to Fabulous, or I'm listening to Cassidy, or whatever the case may be, they're going out their way. I literally just talk, meaning they're all, remember the song 6 Minutes of Death? Oh, that's a crazy song. You goddamn right, I'm feeling myself with a oh my god, hold on, what? I'm about to look up the lyrics, man. That was cool. That was a crazy ass goddamn fucking song, and they just rapping, everyone going for it. And fuck, I don't lost my goddamn train of thought. Anyways, if I'm listening to stuff like that, and these are like my favorite rappers at the time, right, or the people that I'm listening to, I know that I gotta I know when especially me making decisions, I'm gonna do this for real, I gotta go hard like that. Right, like I gotta go hard. I want the reaction. I want people to have a reaction to my verse. Like I don't even know if I ever had that before, where someone's like, "Oh shit, like that was hard as fuck." I don't even know, you know, especially because now, like, my way of experiencing it is giving it out to the internet. Like, eventually, I'm gonna get to the point where I actually found. I think I shared this with y'all before too, but there's like this open mic that they're doing on Tuesdays. They've been holding me on Tuesdays, so I keep getting out too late, and the time frames not matching up. But I think I'm gonna go there to practice, like, performing this shit. Like, even if I'm doing it in a poetic way, I kind of think about how, like, Kanye did what's the song? She's so self-conscious. She has no idea what she's doing in college. The major that she majored don't make no money. But parents look at it funny. Tell me that ain't insecure. The concept seems so secure. 3 jobs. Oh my god, I love that song. I know I'm butchering the lyrics. I'm sorry, bro. But maybe something like he did that on Def Poetry Jam. So I was thinking like maybe I could take some of the songs from like WVR, the Stoic Man, and kind of, you know, perform it in like either like rap it in front of everybody, or one. Oh man, thank you, Jay-Z. I'm sorry, this is completely different. This just came to my head when I was watching the video from last night, this morning on YouTube or whatnot. I love that he was doing verses to different songs, like verses to his songs over different beats, and that blew my mind because like that's how good his fucking verses are, bruh. Like Jay's always clear. He's performing. You could hear his words clear, and he was doing that over different beats. So that just showed, and I was just like, oh, that's dope. I'm like, that might be. I gotta take note of that, because maybe there's songs that I love that did that might not have sounded good, right? But I might be able to still like perform them or like do something else with it. You know what I mean? Because I might like Anakin's Son is my favorite. It's my favorite song that I have with Nick. And it's my baby, right? But it's recorded such a long time ago, and like all this, and like I don't even know, like Free Jewels, like those beats, I don't even know where they at. Like I have to do some deep dive digging to figure out where the instrumentals for these shits is, right? Because this is pre learning how to produce. 111 Up is when I started playing and understanding how to like fucking do the shit or whatever. But I thought that was hell of impressive, so I was like, damn, I gotta take notes. So that's something that I'm eventually walk into. Alright, bet. Alright, so I'm gonna get on some nerd shit before I get the homies on. Yeah, you know what? This is probably better me, like, cause I'll be able to talk, even though I should have a way, but it's like it's either they available as fuck or they not available as fuck. So I'm grateful that I'm able to do this and not kind of be dependent on like an interview or where I could just talk, because that way I could do it and not have an excuse not to be, oh well, I'm gonna interview today, so I'm not gonna do it. Nah, just make the time. This low key a piece of my therapy. Nah, I won't share that right now, because I've shared it, but I wanna need experience and I'll share it after the fact. But yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get into my little nerd talk right now. All right, first of all, I should have mentioned this last week and I didn't, but X-Men 97 season 2 is fucking crazy. Man, let me tell you something. Those first 3 episodes were insane, bruh. One, I really appreciate the way that they laid out the first 3, like they released all 3 episodes at the same time, right? And to let's just backtrack a little bit. At the end of season 1, the X-Men teams were kind of split and lost through time. You had a certain group. I think you had you had fucking Jean, Cyclops, fucking so and so. They ended up going to the future, right? And I think Wolverine was up there too. Then you had people going to ancient past, so you have Professor X, goddamn Magneto, Beast, all of them. They ended up going to like ancient Egypt and shit like that, right? And then it's funny because the person that's in the present is the fucking time traveler, Cable. He the person like, oh, the X-Men gone. Everyone knows the X-Men's gone. We got to figure what's going on too, right? So what I thought was genius that they dropped 3 episodes at the same time, because you took X-Men is a big ass group of characters, right? And you split them between times. So if you try to explain everything with all characters going on and condense it into 30 minutes or 20 minutes, it's going to be a little difficult to get off a cohesive, complete story, right? Because this is what I like. Every episode feels like a whole episode. Like it doesn't feel like a continuous, like it doesn't. Some shows, if I just randomly watch episode 3, if I ain't watch 2 or I ain't watch 4, I can't even get into it, because it's just a continuation of one big story, versus having a bunch of individual stories that connect to one cohesive thing. You think about kind of like music, right? Like a song could be its own thing in its own song, but then it could connect to a whole body of work and all mean something. So anyways, I like that they split, like they released 3 episodes first, so you can get the full story of what's going on between all these 3 different teams. So spoiler warning, because I'm gonna talk about this shit now. There's no way for me to talk about this non-spoiler free. So all right, bet. So I think in the first episode they show what happened in the future, right? So I think this is dope, because I think they're smart how they setting this up. Because think about it, right? Doomsday comes out at the end of this year. I ain't gonna lie, it's crazy that Spider-Man Brand New Day is about to release at the top of this month. They don't even feel real, but I've been waiting for this shit for 5 years. Anyways, Doomsday is gonna release at the end of this month, right? They're reintroducing X-Men characters that are from the 2000s movies, right? Or have been playing those, pretty much playing those roles the whole time up to this point. Or really returning, because, when's the last X-Men movie for real? before like Fox got bought by Disney and so on and so forth, right? But I feel like the X-Men 97 show, because I feel like if you're gonna watch Doomsday, you're probably gonna watch Marvel X-Men 97. They're able to give context to the characters that you haven't seen in a long time, so when you see them on the big screen, you're already familiar. You're not thinking, who the fuck is Cyclops? Who is, like, he was in the X-Men from 2000. Why didn't they have black leather on, whatever? Like, you'll familiarize. So I love how they're writing the characters, right? Like fucking Cyclops and Jean, like they go to the fucking future and see that their son is being treated like some type of messiah, and they're like, huh? And the fucking the son, he is crazy. He's a kid, and you have this group of people that believe that he is the chosen one, right? And his child, cause all right, my bad, because I know it sounds crazy. How's his child in the future? How's your child? How is their child in the future as a child? So, I'm not spoiling nothing from like season 1, but they had to send their child into the future to be safe, to protect them, right? So when they go to the future, which was unintentional, everyone just blipped and went to the future. That's the future that the child went to. So even at the point where he meets them, he doesn't know that that's his parents, right? So it's crazy. And then like all this shit, and it's giving context of, at this point in the timeline, the world has been taken over by Apocalypse. Like they're enslaving all the fucking mutants and shit like that. And the people like that are like rebels or whatever, they're looking at this child as a person that's going to be the savior of this time or whatever. So this whole shit happens where like it's showing you what's going on, and y'all gotta watch it because I won't go into the nuances of it because now certain things are slipping my mind. But the way the episode ends and shows you how it ties into the next episode is fire, because the second episode shows Cable, which is that child, as an adult in the present, right? And it's ill because us as the viewers, we're watching these things happen in like we're watching them happen in real time. And then it's explaining like, oh, these things that they're experiencing was already meant to happen because these are the same memories that Cable has when he was a kid. So I thought that was such an ill thing because they're in a different time. So the constant thought is like, oh, we can't, like, we have to make sure that we're not doing anything to fuck up this timeline. But then it's like, oh well, at the exact same time, we gotta this might be what's supposed to be happening. Oh my god. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna tap in. So yeah, it was so dope. To see what was going on, and then have like the episode ends with them coming back into the presence, right? Or them setting up to come back to the present, or whatever the case may be, right? Now the second episode is with Cable. Now this is where the Marvel geek come into play. All right, so in the first season of X-Men 97, every time you watch the intro, it was a little bit different, right? So the intro to episode 2, instead of it saying X-Men, it said the X-Force, which was Cable's group, right? And I think it's dope because I think they had like, and it shows like the characters in Cable's group or whatever, because Cable had to go recruit, like, all right, the other people that are not in this timeline, like, are not dispensed in some other place in timeline, is Jubilee, Hamans, what was it, Sunspot or some shit like that? Who else? I forgot the goddamn. I forgot the other characters, right? But it's a limited, right? And they're trying to, because everyone's trying to stop Apocalypse or whatever the case may be, which is the big bad of the season and whatnot. Side note: I hope The Rock plays Apocalypse. That would be perfect casting. Because we will get to Apocalypse in a second. Because that episode 3. Wait, no, I lied. Episode 3 and 4, yeah, because it's a 2-parter. Yeah, episode 4, that ending was like, insane, bruh. Insane. We gonna get to that though. So boom, Cable is recruiting people to X-Force or whatnot, right? Now simultaneously, the government created a X-Men team of their own called X Factor. So X Factor and X Force, they beefing throughout episode 2 because they're like, nah, he's like, oh, we're protecting mutants, but y'all work for the government. Y'all not really, and y'all whatever. So there's a lot of friction and stuff going on, and some of the characters in that the X Factor were a part of the original X-Men or whatever. Like I think the leader is like Cyclops' brother, and it's funny because Cable, he's an older dude, but he looked at him and called him uncle, and I just thought that was funny as fuck. Like, because they didn't even explain, like, they, you know, like if you're a fan, you know, right? But it was addressed, but not really it was addressed, but not really what's the word? It was addressed, but not really damn, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Like, they didn't go into dialogue on it or whatever the case may be. But it was fire. That was a fire ass episode, I think. And then the episode ends with the people that was in the past coming into the present or whatnot. And then it goes into the past, which is episode 3 and 4, part 1 and part 2 of one story. I can't wait till Marvel does Apocalypse in real life. I hope it's played by The Rock, and I know The Rock gonna do it justice, right? But when I tell you that shit is crazy, and it's all, I'm hella biased because, you know, I love Kemet or Egypt, whatever you want to call it. So this is the area that they're in. Rama Tut is in that bitch, and that's obviously, I know that's goddamn Kang the Conqueror. Well, not obviously, but if you don't know, Rama Tut is a version of Kang the Conqueror. I wish Jonathan Majors get his fucking just due. That's fucked up what they did. He should still be Kang. I hope in Doomsday they reference Kang and they show, like, or let him have some type of, like, the actor. Now I'm not talking about the character of Kang, but just the actor has some type of redemption. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Shit, ain't Robert Downey Jr. He had a drug problem and all type of shit, and then, you know what I'm saying, the world forgave him. Can we forgive Jonathan Majors? Can we get Kang back? Because he was a great villain. I don't think he was done justice in the Ant-Man movie. Unless if he killed Ant-Man at the end, it would have been crazy. Like, oh shit, he ain't playing. But that's a whole nother thing. Marvel's going through whatever they're going through. So everyone's in ancient Egypt, right? So, you know, Magneto and Professor X, they like, you know, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, right? In a sense of, like, their views, you know. And I didn't realize this, right? But Professor X, even though he come off as a good person, he be bullshitting too. Like, Professor X always be fucking up. I ain't even think about this. He's flawed, like, because, you know, you look at Professor X as the professor, and he's like the leader of the X-Men, and he's, you know what I'm saying, the psychic and all that type of stuff. But he be making bad, terrible decisions all the fucking time. Like, and Magneto, you know, he don't give a fuck. But he's not even evil. I love Magneto as a villain because I don't look at him as a he's not evil, but he operates from a place of justice, and he don't give a fuck. He'll take it there if he has to take it there, or he won't. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he has no where Professor X has rules. I feel like Magneto has no rules, right? I think that's how they operate. Those are they're polar opposites of each other, but they're heading to the same goal, which is, you know, for mutants to be equal amongst humanity and shit like that. But their approaches are like two different ways. So you have Magneto, Professor X, Beast, Rogue. This is how I know this was my favorite episode, because I remember every episode, like most of the characters in it, and Forge, right? They're stuck in the past. Now, when we get there, right, when the episode starts, we see that Magneto has befriended the young version of Apocalypse before he gets, like, the tech armor from the ancient fucking gods of the space and all this type of shit, right? Leading an army to he's leading an army to fight the pharaoh that took over his kingdom and all this type of shit, right? And I love when, like, it's funny because I'm in the process of creating my first fiction thing, right? and I'm thinking about like all these different things of like characters, stuff like that. I love when an artist or a character. What the hell? Oh shit! I didn't know. All right. I love when an artist or a character, what's the word? Makes you understand the villain and have some type of sympathy, right? Because it's not the generic. Oh, I want to take over the world. You gotta be stopped. No, it's like this person was abandoned as a child, right? He was treated different because he was a mutant, and this, that, and the third. My bad, my phone keep going. I'm trying to focus. He was abandoned as a child or whatever. You know what I'm saying the world didn't fuck with him, and then he grew bitter. Which actually, this is why I love Naruto. I always reference Madara right here, right? Because he had the same circumstances. Nobody fucked with. He had a demon inside. He was born with a demon in him, right? And they don't explain what that means till way later in the story. So all the village, everyone in the village is scared of him, right? Because his parents had to stop their village from getting destroyed because this big demon came and attacked everybody, and they took the demon and trapped them inside inside this child. So nobody wanted to fuck with that child as a kid, right? And so his but instead of him growing up to be bitter that the world didn't fuck with him, he fought for he fought to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I feel that. Like I feel what that means. He fought to be seen, right? Anyways, so Apocalypse, he the dark side of that, bro. He wants to, you know what I'm saying, liberate his people and to get his land back and shit like that. Now, simultaneously, Magneto got the idea like, hey, listen, maybe we could change the future. So, Magneto and Professor X are debating like, bro, what you mean we could change the future? No, we have to leave here and go figure this out back in our timeline. And Magneto's like, wait, but what if we're here for a reason? What if we could have him? What if we can make a world where he doesn't become evil and he's utilizing all that power for the goodness of mankind, right? Which is funny because you have who's essentially the bad guy saying, hey, I think that we could get this evil person who killed countless of people throughout the time. I think we could get him right. And then Professor X like, nah, bro, you tripping, bro. Obviously not talking about this, but Professor's like, nah, you tripping. But he respect Magneto so much that he's like, I'm rolling with you. Let's see if this happens. Spoiler warning. No, they both fucking wrong. They dumb as hell. So it's crazy because I forgot what happens, right? But because he finds out that Apocalypse, the reason he go crazy because they kept lying to him, bruh. They kept lying, like Magneto, he didn't tell him the whole truth. Oh, y'all, you didn't tell me you're mutants from the future. And then after, all right, cool, you lied to him. Now let's explain what's going on. He's like, all right, so you guys make the X-Men in the future, this and the third, but they don't mention nothing about him, right? So I forgot what happens at the end of the episode, the first part of the first part of the thing. I forgot what actually happens. I think he something because they're getting ready to or Ramatut did some shit and he's looking for something. He's looking for like a ancient spaceship or some shit like that, right? So the second episode they go to the spaceship itself, right? So whatever, they go in there. Professor X and Ramatut, they over here talking telepathically, and he's like, hey, if you don't stop him, you gonna make a worse situation than what it is right now, right? And Professor X is like, not like, he don't even know who to believe because his essentially Magneto's his best friend. He don't agree with him, but he ride with him because he's like, all right, cool, maybe this can be something. Let's not get all possibilities on the floor. Then you got like the real bad guy saying, hey, I'm letting you know that shit not gonna work. It's not gonna work. If y'all don't fuck with him right now, you gonna make shit worse. And then coming from the bad guy, it's like, do I believe you? If it's gonna be worse? And then so anyways, Apocalypse walk in the fucking room or whatever, and they realize, oh, this is the same ship that he's been using to travel through space and time or whatever. It's like the exact same ship. So when he walks inside, there's or hieroglyphs on the wall showing everything that's happening in that episode. And he's like, oh, I get it. He's like, this was meant to happen. You guys try to stop me from my future. He's like, what? And then he started whooping the X-Men ass, right? Something happens where Magneto, he's trying to have all the X-Men set to go back to the present because they had the way to teleport back in time or whatnot. So Magneto's like, nah, fuck that. I'll stay here and deal with it. Y'all gotta go. I can't let y'all die. He's like, I promised y'all that I was gonna let y'all X-Men. I was gonna bring you guys home. Right when he teleport everybody, I think Apocalypse attacks midway. Oh, mind you, my bad. I didn't even mention. Right after he beats him, and then the spaceship shit creates this thing. So he walks in, and then that's when he gets like the mechanized look. So he whooped their ass, and then got an upgrade, and then proceeded to whoop their ass again. it's great. That man was stepping that bitch like how Mega Man stepped in the light capsule, and he got the armor upgrade. That's exactly what Apocalypse did, and or whatever. So like everyone goes back to the present, and Professor X and Magneto is stuck in the past with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is going crazy. Oh, so what Apocalypse is doing? He's using that ship to destroy the city that he initially, I guess, was trying to liberate, which is kind of wild, right? Magneto does some goated shit or whatever, and he ends up saving the city using his magnetism and like pretty much depleting his body of his energy and resources, right? By doing some crazy cosmic shit and getting the shit out the way or whatever. But the cliffhanger is crazy. All right, spoiler again. I've been saying spoiler, bruh. Apocalypse kills Magneto in front of Professor X's eyes, like disintegrates him. And it's crazy how it shows it, because you see the Marvel is doing a good job of making this show adult as fuck, but knowing that, okay, I know this is for people that grew up in the 90s that are reliving this again, but we know kids will probably watch this, or young teenagers or late teenagers probably watch this shit too. So they do a good job of like being adult and kind of dark and still being able to. Because imagine if it was on mute and the kid was watching, they just see colors and cartoons and X-Men stuff fighting. They're not really engaged on like the particulars of the story, right? I mean, like a 1, 2, 3-year-old. But the visual of like, I think he did it in the shadow where like Apocalypse is holding Magneto and he fucking, and it's so sad, bruh, because Professor X is talking to Magneto telepathically, and he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't save you. And Apocalypse is fucking with Professor X like, yeah, go ahead and lie to him, Charles. Lie to him and tell him that everything's gonna be all right. Bro, you in that bitch like 50, you like Kanan. You know what? Fuck that. 50 Cent should play goddamn Apocalypse. I don't know if he got the hype for it, but I don't know how to talk 50 Cent because Apocalypse. I don't know, but that maybe he can. I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a casting director, but Apocalypse was really on some Kane and shit, bro. This man mudded, goddamn man. I'm surprised they killed him too. I did not think, because because they killed Gambit, and that was one of the best episodes I've ever seen in my motherfucking life. One of the best episodes I've ever seen in my life. This an episode called Remember It, and it's sad too, because just understanding like the Gambit. It was in a love triangle with Magneto and Rogue, and Gambit loves Rogue. There's nothing like, you could just tell, regardless of whatever, this motherfucker loves Rogue. So that sacrifice he did at the episode at the end of Remember It, it's sad as fuck, bro. Like, I remember it being a minute that I got teary eyed at the end of an episode, and I'm like, oh, hold on, this shit hit different. Anyways, I'm surprised they killed Magneto. And he did it like, bro, this is how evil Apocalypse is. He kills Professor X's best friend in front of him, disintegrates him too. It wasn't like he disintegrated him. His helmet rolls rolls near Professor X, and he walks to it and grabs the fucking helmet. Professor X is like, all right, he about to kill me now too. Like, he's accepting that he's about to die. As he's walking, he's like, something along the lines is, we don't step on ants, and walks over him, just like how Allen Iverson walked over T-Lou. Walked over Professor X, and he gotta sit there with that shit, bruh. Now I can't wait to see what happens next. When is the next episode? Let me see. Um, um, hold on. When is the X? Shit. When is the next episode of X-Men 97, season 2? Oh, Wednesday. I bet. All right, cool. All right, that's gonna be dope. Yeah, that was crazy. Now the cliffhanger, fire. Not the cliffhanger. It's funny. It's dope that cartoon got a post credit scene. So the post credit scene, this motherfucker Wolverine is on top of a building with a Scully on and a black crew neck, and Captain America and Black Widow pop up out of nowhere and give him some type of files or whatever. I ain't gonna lie, I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, Wolverine about to go in a team up with Captain America and Black Widow, which maybe is still in the cards. I don't know if they pop up later in the episode, but how they made it seem like he has his own squad or whatever. But I think the next episode, I'm predicting, I don't know what's going on, I haven't looked at any whatever, so I do think that the next episode is gonna be goddamn Wolverine getting his adamantium claws back, because even in the first episode where he was fighting all the Sentinels and shit, he kept breaking his claw, like, cause his bone. So he'd stab the robot. He's like, the shit would break. He's like, oh, he get frustrated, just punch the fucking robot. So I know he's like, nah, I need these adamantium claws, bro. This shit, every time I pop these shits out, they just breaking like goddamn sticks. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie, X-Men 9. I don't like. And I say this too, right? Because I don't know, like, again, I don't know who watches me or what people really watch. I love 90s sitcoms. I love fucking movies, and I love anime. And I'm not, like, I like a variety of different things, right? So, like, for instance, if someone has never watched anime and is interested in watching anime, I wouldn't recommend something like Naruto. Or, I mean, it depends, right? Like, I feel like if you want to watch something that you can watch with, like, your kids or some shit like that, a kid, and it'll be something, and it's still deep and whatever, I think Naruto is dope. But I also think it's a long ass anime. So if you're not really into it, and then you get into it, you gonna be like, that's kind of overwhelming. What the fuck, 1,000 episodes, right? One Piece is like that. But, like, if you wanted something like condensed and it has a clear beginning, middle, and end, and it's like suspenseful, gotta watch Death Note. To me, I always that's like, if I remember, like, my ex's sister was asking me, like, oh, I want to watch anime, what do you think I watch? I'm like, it depends on if you like dark shit, or if you like stuff that's like heavy and thought provoking, Death Note is where it's at. Essentially, Death Note is about this character named Light. He's the son of some, like, investigator or some shit, like a police, whatever. His dad's like a police officer, some shit like that. This character finds a book called the Death Note, right? And in this book, whatever name he writes, the person automatically dies, right? So you see this character that's introduced as a normal person, like a normal, like, 19-20-year-old that gets this, like, godlike complex of justice. So the first thing he does is starts going through, like, this database of evil people or some shit like that, or people that are whatever, and starts writing all their names down. And then the world is like, yo, they're looking at it like a conspiracy. Oh my god, all these people are dying left and right, and they're all criminals and this, that, and the third. Like, we don't know what's going on. So an investigation takes place, right? Like, a world, they try to figure out, and it points them out to the same city where Light is at, right? Now, this guy is so intelligent that he knows how to, like, finesse it, because nobody knows about the Death Note, right? There's a character that they introduced called L, and L, story-wise or character-wise, is like it's like the parallel, like the good side to this guy's dark side, because he's just as intelligent. And the reason I'm saying this, right, because, like, I don't know what people like watching, but I like when things are suspenseful and I don't know what's gonna happen next, right? But I'm engaged because, again, when stories are character driven, you know how certain characters are, so when you put them in the same space, you're like, wait, hold on, how does this interaction look? Know what I mean? So that for like specifically, there's a specific scene that I love, right? That kind of shows the dynamics between Light and L. I think L ends up going to the same school as Light or something like that. Now it's kind of blurry to me. I might have to watch it again. And it's two. If you want to watch the movie, I think it's like 2 hours. It's a cartoon. It's like there's an anime movie version of it, not the real life. Don't watch the movie on Netflix. Don't watch the movie on Netflix. It will not do justice. There's an anime version that's like 2 hours long, or you can watch the actual series, which I'd suggest is if you want to like dive into something and have something that's gonna last you like a week or two, because it's only like 40 episodes. Watch the series. But there's a specific scene where they're playing tennis. They're in school and they're in a tennis match, right? But the way that it's shot, or not shot, the way that the story is done, you hear their head dialogue. Because Light knows, hey, you trying to figure me out. I'm not going to let you figure me out. And the tennis back and forth is like a representation of their thoughts, right? And then Light is like, and then L is like, I know, I can't point it out specifically yet, but I know that you got to be the person. And I'm gonna catch you slipping, right? So they having this tennis match, and they're having this internal dialogue in their head as they're having the fucking tennis match and shit like that. And it's so intense because you're like, damn, is he gonna find out or whatever? And then when they show you what happens after the fact, it's a great fucking anime. Only 40 episodes. But yeah, if it was that, it would be that. Or Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is another one. It's a newer anime, but that's another one that's like goated. And I think like the first 4 seasons are like 10 or 12 episodes, and then they started making like every other arc is now like a movie. I seen the first 3 seasons. The last episode of the 3rd season though, man, when I tell you, again, at that point you're so invested to the characters. And when there's a specific character that you think it's over, and like the main character's just like trying to do everything it's possible to make it before the sun is all the way up, and like I don't want to give too much of this because this is a really good, really fucking good show. But he go like you. And when you find out the end and what happens, and it's like, oh, that was powerful. That made me feel something, right? Because and what's happening is between a brother and a sister, right? Or the brother trying to save the sister. So when you see how the outcome goes, and why the outcome goes the way it goes, it just makes so much sense. And not only that, but it made you, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? So Demon Slayer is another one that I think is gas. There's a bunch of other stuff, but I'm really biased to the shit that I like, so I don't think everyone. Now again, if you're already interested in Naruto and you want something long that's gonna get you, Naruto's where it's at. And I'm telling you right now, anyone that's tapping Naruto, do not skip the Google, YouTube, whatever filler list. Skip the filler episodes, because it's just like a cartoon or anything, right? A lot of time, or like imagine it's like the filler episodes is like an album with extra songs that don't go that don't connect to the cohesive project, right? They making cartoons, they trying to make money, so this was not a part of the original manga, because all animes are adaptations of mangas, which are Japanese comic books, right? So when they transform it into cartoons, they want to stretch it out so they can have more episodes, because maybe the manga is not that long or whatever the case may be, so they have to find ways to stretch it out or whatever the case may be. But Naruto's so long, and you really want to get to Shippuden, because that's when all the shit's happening. That's when fucking the characters have grown up. There's a time skip. You see these, you fall in love with these characters as kids and see them going through like some crazy shit or whatever. Then you see how the series ends, and you're like, wait, what happens? And then there's a time jump, and then when the time jump happens, it's like, oh no, this shit got real, and now we're catching up with everything that happened among these characters. But that's a big investment. I ain't gonna lie. It took me a minute to watch that shit, but once I did, I was hooked. It was like a year of me watching Naruto, and then I was dating somebody. I was like, no, you gotta watch this shit, and then I ended up watching it again, or not all the way. She did not have no patience. She didn't skip. No. I'm on the such and such arc, but that's a fucking goated. What else I had on here? It's some random shit, bruh. Now I'm cause I like Batman Nightfall got a new cartoon series. Not series, like an animated movie. I think the DC does really good animated films. They're really adult. As far as like a traditional cartoon, that's probably the only thing I would watch, like a DC animated film, or like a Marvel shit. Well, the DC specifically, because they're made for adults. Like people be dying in blood and all type of shit like that. Like they don't give a fuck, and they're adapting a story that I thought was ill. And shit. I mean, what am I gonna talk about Doomsday that everyone is not already fucking talked about? That bitch about to be gassed though. They just showed a picture, like the first like look of how the characters really look, like from an official thing on some panel in like China or some shit like that. And you see Doctor Doom, you see the X-Men, you see the Avengers, you see the new Avengers, you see the Fantastic Four, and this film looked like it's about to be gas. And again, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Oh, all right. So look, this is dope. Damn, nobody tapped in today. God damn, fine. I guess this will be a shorter episode. But wait, how long we in? Oh, we in 2 hours. It's not bad. I literally been sitting here talking for 2 hours. It's motherfucking crazy. Thank y'all for giving me the space to, you know what I mean, talk about the nerd shit that I like. Hold on. Something that I think is fire, right? All right, so y'all know I really love like Spider-Man is my favorite character, you know what I mean? Like superhero character. So recently in my life, like I felt like I've been wearing, like it's funny because there's different things that kind of, I want to say parallel, or like I was like, oh shit, I feel that way, right? So a perfect example, because even in my album, I have a song called Brand New Day, and it's directly inspired by, or the name is inspired by the Spider-Man movie that's about to drop called Brand New Day. And in the story, Peter Parker, like the world has forgotten who Peter Parker is. They only know who Spider-Man is because of what happens at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. But I thought that was such a powerful, like symbolically, that resonates with me, right? Because you know, like chasing a dream and like, you know, wanting to be somebody. I'm putting the artist first into the forefront. I'm sharing. This is why I like doing the pod, because I could talk about hip hop and the stuff that I like, but I could talk about, you know, other stuff that I like too. Or like I could give you the different aspects of me and do my best to be as natural as possible, and so I could get like a feel of like who I actually am, right? But for a long time I've been wanting to for me really wanting to be somebody and prove to myself that I could, oh yeah, I'm gonna make it, and this and the third. The mask of like Amaury Love has always been in the forefront too, like where people like, who the fuck is Jose? You know what I mean? That's my, like, who the fuck is Jose? I ain't see you in a minute. Where you at? Oh man, it's funny too. You know, Bobby, completely. No one's gonna get what I'm saying, but I have to get it out because it made me think of it, and it's funny to me, right? So one of my bros, Cam, he I forgot when, but he grew dreads like in high school, whatever, right? He had just for a minute, and like, you know how back in the day, like Chief Keef had the dreads that like covered the eyeballs or whatever. That's how his dreads was and shit like that. Like he had the long dreads and the dreads covered the eyeballs. And I remember we all like before. I think this is right before he moved to North Carolina too. He had cut his hair, and I remember Fat Boy made a joke like, "Damn, Cam, I ain't see you in a minute." I know it's not funny to nobody but me, and hopefully the homies watch this. But to me, that shit is fucking hilarious, bro. That was fucking hilarious. But anyways, that theme of like the world forgot, you know, the world only knows Spider-Man, and they forgot Peter Parker, right? And then the people, like, it's crazy too, because in the movie, the people that are closest to Peter Parker, don't remember who he is, right? So he's like essentially the girl that he's in love with, she done moved on, and his best friend moved on, or whatever the case may be, and like he feels alone. But the only way he feels like his identity is Spider-Man. So he feels alive when he's saving people and doing this, that, and the third. But in his real life, he feels alone. Which is funny. Is how I feel right now. Not for nothing, right? Because that's why I like, even me being tapped into the stuff that I'm tapped into makes me feel like me, right? Like, meaning that it grounds me. But like, all of my friends are for the essentially adults, right? So like, motherfuckers got kids and families and doing stuff. So I don't have the luxury. Like, thank God the past couple Sundays I haven't been able to get my friends on the fucking group chat and shit like that. But at the same, I don't have that luxury all the time, and I recognize or understand that, like, people are grown, bro. They got stuff that they got to do, and responsibilities and all that. Damn, I done lost my goddamn point. Oh, I did good though. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes in. The whole time I haven't lost my train of thought. This is my first time. Hold up. All right. Okay. So what I was saying was, so him feeling alone, like, that resonated with me because I feel like that now in Puerto Rico. Even when I was in Miami, I felt alone because I know people, and I do have real like friendships and shit like that, right? But like, my circle has been the same since I was like 12, 13 years old, give or take, right? Because there's people that enter my life a little later on that like I consider real friends and shit like that, or like, y'all know, like, it's not a fucking secret, like, me and my ex are still friends, or whatever the case may be. That's someone that entered my life like fucking 10 years ago. So like, the people that I stay in constant communication with, and the people that know me for real, have been consistent in my life this whole fucking time, right? Now the thing is, due to proximity, where, two of my dogs live in North Carolina, one of my other homies is in the Army, he just came back from Poland or some shit like that. We ain't talked to him in 6 months because he was in a whole different timeline. I mean, time zone, not timeline. That man jumped into the multiverse. That boy was in 616. Oh no, this is 616. He was in the goddamn 838. We're all kind of, and then at the same time, we're adults with jobs and responsibilities and stuff like that. So we don't have the luxury of being able to chop it up all the fucking time. That's why even the pod was kind of freshen, because like, okay, hey, bro, I'm also, if y'all free, just everyone tap in, and then we can all kind of like chop it up like we would normally do in the group chat and stuff. But yeah, so I recognize that, like, everyone got stuff and all that. So I not only I'll be mindful of that, but my bad. Anyways, I was saying that to say that it makes me think of, that's how I feel now. Like, all right, well, my loved ones is not around for the most part. I'm figuring stuff out, and then I was, and into the world I'm presenting Amaury Love, right? Like the you know what I'm saying, like the rapper, like, if you look at my social, like my Instagram and shit like that, which I reactivated only do one specific thing, but if you look at my Instagram, I pretty much most of the posts are all raps. Like, I'm just showing you what I love and what I do, but you're not really getting who I am, right? And for a long time I've been defining who I am. For a long time I've been defining who I am based on what I'm doing, and I didn't realize how toxic that was, because if what I'm doing doesn't succeed, then I feel like then it's the false sense of like, oh, I'm not enough, because what I love, I'm defined by what I'm doing, right? So if I'm defined by what I'm doing and it doesn't work out, then something's wrong with me, right? And that's not true, but that's the feeling that I could have and shit like that. So recognizing that or anyways, that's how I feel. And I'm pairing Spider-Man Brand New Day. I was like, oh my god, look how God worked, bro. This shit is completely encompasses what I'm fucking feeling right now. So I'm really excited to see how they play out. Now, on some nerd shit, let's do some speculation shit. Fuck it, right? So one, I think the symbiote is in the fucking movie. I can't see how it's not in the movie, right? You have the post credit scene with goddamn Venom leaving a piece of the symbiote in the thing, right? When you look at because I'm tapped into the fucking rumor world and like people that do these breakdowns on videos, and like I could go down the goddamn list of fucking Screen Crush or fucking Heavy Rock Stars or fucking it's my bad, it's not coming forward. I got nervous, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say this, and then my brain stopped for a second. But anyways, a lot of these countless YouTubers that break down stuff, so they're giving their insights and takes and like what are supposedly rumors is and this and the third. Because we know the Hulk is in the movie, Jean Grey, the Sadie Sink is supposed to be playing Jean Grey, Punisher's in the movie. And they haven't really revealed who the real big bad is, right? Like you hear, like you see like all these villains, but they're not supposed to be like the main bad guy. So up until this point, right now, as this recording, this is July 12th, 2026, we have no idea who the fuck is the big bad from goddamn Spider-Man Brand New Day. But I do think this is my prediction. I think someone is trying to control Jean Grey, and they was talking about like Spider-Man's the only person that can't be possessed, and he's going through physical changes. I think, me personally, this is what I think, right? I think the symbiote is inside of motherfucking Spider-Man, still developing, because remember, it was just a drop when you seen it at the fucking beginning of at the end of No Way Home post-credit scene. I think the symbiote's developing and Peter Parker, and the reason that he can't be mind controlled is not because of his spider sense, but because the symbiote is not allowing him to be controlled. So I think at one point in the movie, see, what they're thinking is at some point Peter Parker's gonna die, and then the symbiote's gonna revive him, and I think that's like the whatever. Oh my god, the post-credit scene. But what I actually think is gonna happen is he'll get to the point where he's about to die, and then the symbiote pop. Well, maybe I don't think it's gonna happen. This is me wishful thinking. I hope that he's about to die. He get the symbiote pops up out of nowhere to save him, and we get like 15 minutes of a fight scene with the symbiote. Like, give us the symbiote for. I don't want to see the symbiote for 15 for the post credit. Oh, what a black hand, whatever. Fucking like you see the suit or the white symbol. Don't do that little bullshit ass tease. We already gotta wait 6 months for goddamn Doomsday to come. If you gonna do the symbiote, give us like a 10-minute, like at least have him fight back whoever he fighting, and then whatever. Then you can explain whatever the fuck happened after that. But don't tease us with the symbiote or not, like, you know what I mean? That's like a girl coming over and she take off all her clothes and she's like, oh no, I'm not having sex. Why are you naked? Like, what are you doing? You're just confused the signals right now. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm thrown off. Like, are you sure? Like, is this a test? Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I really hope what I really hope happens in goddamn the fuck is that? That shit, I don't know if that's fireworks. That's not bullets. Oh, that is fireworks. Who the fuck is shooting fireworks on July 12th? There's some shit going on that I don't know about. But anyways, all right. Well, we gonna. It's not short, but we gonna cut this right here. Let me see. Did I have anything else to talk about? Let me see if I get the homies on here. Let me see. This shit gonna turn to another hour if I got a group chat. I did get off when I wanted to get off though. Again, like I'm saying, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm just doing my best, and oh shit, I almost called the supervisor. And I also know that it's taking my time, man. That shit weird. The camera move with you with the iPhone?